Hello, Joe Shaw here, full stack engineer in incubation engineering. I'm looking at application performance, monitoring management, and observability, and how we integrate that with the GitLab DevOps platform. Short update this week. I've mostly been working on various elements of getting the testing or staging environment set up and automated in the background, which has meant doing a bit of learning around some of the tools I'm not as familiar with, for example, like Terraform, that I don't have very much experience with. So that's taking up a bit of my time at the moment. In terms of a merge request that we got in this week, I wanted to have the Helm registries, the Helm charts pushed to a registry on merge requests, and when we merge into the main branch as well. Took me a little bit of time to get this worked out. I initially was using the packages feature in GitLab, which has a Helm in CI/CD. You've got a CI/CD packages and registries. You've got a Helm package registry in here. You can see more information. There are various ones supported. And for some reason, I thought that was equivalent of a container image, an OCI image. And it's not. That's the sort of standard way of doing a Helm chart package and save as part of a Helm repository. I actually wanted to do the OCI image mechanism, which is sort of in development in Helm, because I think it's a nicer way of handling Helm charts. So that has been done as part of this MR. So I'll quickly show you how that works. So as well as having standard container image pushes as part of our builds for this APM solution, we also push the Helm charts as well. So we do, as part of the linting process, we've added the mechanism to update the Helm charts using YQ, which is a fairly standard YAML CLI tool to update parts of YAML files. And we add a Helm tag in there, update the chart YAML, and we also go into the values file and update the images in that values file, so it reflects the commit SHA of the images that are built as part of the commit push as part of the merge request or the merge train into the main branch. So that updates that chart, and then we lint it. And then once everything else in the pipeline is finished, once the container image is built, for example, we push the Helm chart as well to the registry. And so we set the experimental OCI to 1 there as part of Helm to tell it that we can use this feature. We use Helm registry login, which is effectively the same mechanism as a Docker login there to log into the registry. We save that chart that we've modified as part of the CI process, and then we push it. And you can see in the container registry for the project, we have a Helm section and that particular Helm chart there. And you can see we're using commit SHA values there. When we have tags, we'll put the proper tag version in there as well. So the main purpose of that is so that we're bundling those Helm changes up, and when we get to the point in a pipeline where we want to do a deployment, we can use that. But also, if we decided, for example, in the staging or production environment, we wanted to take a, say, GitOps approach, it's much easier to do so now that we have those artifacts in a registry, because we can have, say, a Helm chart operator in the environment that checks for new versions and automatically pulls them and rolls them out, things like that. So that, in theory, should make that a lot easier to work with. What else have we been working on? One of the things alongside the automation of deployment and setting up the staging environment, I've realized that the data coming in, we don't currently have a way of integrating that with the GitLab project and the user's environment that we want that they're using the project with, right? And that's quite crucial, really, because at the moment it's just storing a bucket of all the data. So it's not particularly useful in that respect. So we've created an issue here, and I think this needs to be done before we put the project into staging. Otherwise, anyone that uses it, their data is just going to exist with everyone else's data, which would make it pretty much useless if we then provide any other functionality on top of that. So my proposal here, and I do need to work this out a little bit more, is that with any agent that we use with the APM solution, which is currently the Datadog agent, we can set some environment variables. So the user can set a project ID and optionally an environment ID. And that could either be the path in their GitLab instance. So it might be something like the path that we see in the URL here, and it'll be able to work that out. Or it could, in fact, be the actual integer ID there. Same goes for the environment ID. You can see how you do that with the Datadog agent there, using these fields or these environment variables or the tags attribute in the Helm chart. So the project ID would be a requirement for the user, and that would be checked against the GitLab API using the API token that the user provides. That's effectively a way of doing authentication and authorization against that project. We need to probably make sure that account that is linked to is a minimum of a sort of developer level of user, so that they have the correct credentials to be storing this data against the project or the environment. It might be that you have public projects, like a lot of the ones that GitLab hosts. You don't want people just to be able to submit metrics that are attached to that project. So you need to put some checks in there. And I put in a little initial sequence chart here. So the agent, if it's invalid, when it gets the project, we'll get 401 and that'll send back. If we pass it a valid key and project, we'll get the project with the key, we'll get the JSON, we'll optionally get the environments, and we'll give 200 back to the agent. But what we can do is we need to then store against any series data or any other data we start to store alongside APM. We'll store that project ID and that environment ID, and then we can link between the two systems. And that would be part of the sorting key as well. So that's quite important, I think, before we make this available anyway. Otherwise, it just doesn't make much sense. Yeah, so that's the update for me at the moment. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.